All right, so the plan was to get a little bit of video footage of either Jacob or Xander this past weekend, and that just didn't happen. You know, life was lifing, like I've said before. We do have some things going on in our extended family that we're trying to work through as well. But overall, this last weekend was a good weekend, and I didn't want to cause any stress on anybody else in the family by trying to put a camera in their face and doing an update video, right? I think you guys can understand that with what we're going through with Amy's father. So an update on her father is, well, he's going to be moved to like an in-home facility that is like a caretaker home. The hospital is going to pay for a month of that for him to hopefully get better and recover some more, although there won't be any PT or like physical therapy or anything that'll be there. It's just going to be the in-home facilities, like the people that work there. There's 4 people that live there, and then the people that take care of those people that live there. Her father's going to get to check into that sometime this week, which is good because Amy was stressing because we don't really have room for him here in our home, and it would be a big distraction to the whole family, really. It would happen if we had to. However, right now we're trying to look at all the avenues that we can. Like the hospital was telling Amy to start up a GoFundMe. And we're both like, well, her dad doesn't have a whole lot of friends anymore because of his ex-wife. She kind of ran everybody off that were his friends as he grew up in life. So he doesn't have any friends. Really don't have much family. We have us, Amy, and then Amy's brother. He's available and lives closer, right? So that's kind of that's it, really. There's no like money tree anywhere, and they're like, yeah, just start a GoFundMe and just have people start donating, and that'll help you cover any costs that you incur or paying for nursing and all that. And we're just like, man, we wouldn't raise any money. That's the problem, right? Because you have to be able to be out there and get that link out in public view, right? And there's so many GoFundMes out there. People aren't just randomly coming across smaller GoFundMes. There has to be some push behind it to actually get some traction. But we do have the month of him being at the facility, which, like I said, releases some stress for Amy trying to figure out how he was going to be moved to our home from the Dallas area to the Houston area, or living with her brother in his new home as well. That's in that area. He's stressing out about that. He works 12-hour shifts, and his girlfriend, she works as well out of the house. So there wouldn't be anybody to give him 24/7 care, which is what the hospital is saying he needs right now, is 24/7 care. And we don't have that ability either. I have a full-time job that I have to work with clients that my schedule kind of is fluctuating. Amy works outside of the house. Jacob works outside of the house. Xander's in school and is a 16-year-old. That's not a responsibility he needs to have to deal with. So those stresses aside, we had a really good weekend. On Sunday, I told Amy it was probably one of the better Sundays I've had in recent memory, even though the Astros lost. Like my team lost, right? We lost by 1, but I got to spend a good portion of my day in the hot tub relaxing. We had a family dinner. We slept in. We just kind of vegged out around the house, and it was good. I didn't have to do any yard work. I just got to relax. On Saturday, I worked on a recipe for an old fashioned. They're not real difficult to make, right? But I did make an old fashioned, and I found a recipe that I liked a lot, and they were yummy. They were like some of the best old fashions that I've personally ever made. I would say it ranks in my top 5 of old fashions. I'm an old fashioned connoisseur, I guess you'd say. I like drinking my old fashions. If I'm going to drink, right? Because I don't drink as much as I used to in my younger years. Now it's like occasionally if we get together with friends, we have friends over, we go somewhere, I might have a drink or two, but I don't drink like during the work week. I don't drink Monday through Friday. It would just be like maybe like a happy hour on a Friday evening. I might have a couple beers. But if I was to drink, I don't drink a lot anymore. I've kind of started to learn as I've gotten older. I finally matured enough to realize that drinking and me, they don't go well together, because in my family there's a history of alcoholism. In Amy's family, there's a history of alcoholism. So like we have lots of alcoholism in both sides of our tree, of our family trees, right? So it's like, when I was younger, I would drink, and I would probably label myself as I could probably easily be an alcoholic, because I don't understand when the cutoff point is. Like if I'm out drinking, or when I was younger, when I was out drinking, as long as there's a drink in my hand, I was drinking, right? I didn't have that control to stop myself. As I've gotten older, I realized that I need to limit myself. So it's like I go into whatever I'm going to do. The max I'm going to drink is like a 6-pack, or maybe 3 old fashions, something like that, right? I have it in my head, and I always try to, when I finish one beverage, I drink a full glass of water, or a water bottle, right? I've learned these little tips as I've gotten older, and it's helped. And I think the biggest thing it's helped me is I just don't drink as often, right? So I understand that I can't, because otherwise I would become something I don't want to become. And that's kind of what I was getting at with today's my thought that I want to pass along, and I want to reflect on next time, is just because it's there doesn't mean you have to have it, right? Like I always have whiskey or bourbon in my house for whenever I decide to have an old fashioned, but I don't need to drink it all the time because it's there. I can see it and I don't have to drink it, right? Or I don't have to drink a 12-pack, right? I don't have to finish it. I could have a few out of it, right? And then just space it out. And that's kind of what I'm getting at, is you got to know what your vices are, and you have to realize there's a moment when you need to make the decision that's the correct decision for you. For me, it's just try not to drink very often. And if I do, make sure I'm limiting myself. Otherwise, you never know what could happen. I've never been a person that drink and drives. That's never been me. One other thing, what was it? I do promise you guys we will get updates with other people besides me. And yes, I don't live alone anymore. I still live with my family. I'm sure some of you are starting to wonder, well, where is the family? Because they're not around. They are. It's just whenever I do video clips right now, I do it while nobody's in the house, or I do it in the backyard where there's nobody at either. Another thing I wanted to throw out there was, did I mention to you guys, or did I mention to myself, since this is my self-reflection, I am a type 2 diabetic, and I had my test done recently and they came back bad, right? I don't know if I told you guys or not, or if I told myself that, but they came back fairly bad, right? And so I haven't really paid attention to my type 2 diabetes over the last, this chair is really squeaky, I'm sorry. I haven't really paid too close of attention to my diabetes. I can tell when I start getting a headache and I start feeling it. Well, now it's like I have to pay attention, so I'm back wearing my my little monitor thing and keeping up with my numbers. Like right now, we'll look at, I just ate lunch. There were some beans in my lunch, which beans aren't really good for a diabetic. So I'm at about a 186 right now, and it's kind of rising. For a while, my numbers would stay between 200 and 300 and sometimes peak over 300, right? And now I'm trying to keep it, the max I want to go to is 250, right? I want to, my spike will hit 250. I know to drink a big glass of water, go for like a mile walk, which you guys have seen how I walk. I walk in the living room and just keep going around in circles. But I'm doing my best, and there was a few days this weekend. I think that's another reason that I think I had a good weekend, was I kept my numbers between 110 and 145 for like an entire 24-hour period, and that was an accomplishment, because it's hard to do when you're a type 2 diabetic. It's, at least in my situation. I take 3 different drugs, which my doctor said that I'm going to have to start taking insulin at night for a while. For 3 months, I'm going to be taking insulin at night because I've been, my numbers have been too bad. So that's the update, the health update for me, the health update for Amy's dad, and just the whole family update. It's coming, okay? Now I got to get back to work. My lunch break's over.